Before this video starts, I would like to go on and express that I'm not suicidal. I don't have any dark thoughts, nor is anything wrong with my health. And I'm making this video because I believe this is the reasoning as to why John F. Kennedy was assassinated. There's two presidents that have something in common: Abraham Lincoln and John F. Kennedy. So the two things that both of these presidents have in common is that they weren't a fan of the Federal Reserve Bank. Now, if you don't know anything about the Federal Reserve Bank, they basically run the world. And now, I watch a bunch of videos explaining why JFK could have been assassinated, but this is the smartest one to me. They have the money to do it, and they more than have the reason to do it. I mean, John F. Kennedy, if successful with his Executive Order 1110, if he was successful, it would have probably taken down the entire Federal Reserve. Let's go ahead and read on that. Now, I just want you guys to understand the timeline of things that happened and why I believe the Federal Reserve assassinated John F. Kennedy. Just a little context, right? How did the Executive Order 11110 work? This would be achieved by giving the Treasury Department the authority to issue silver certificates backed by silver bullion, which could then be used to purchase goods and services in the same way as the Federal Reserve notes. The idea was that the silver certificates would increase the money supply in circulation, which would help reduce prices and increase economic activity. The silver certificates would also be able to compete with the Federal Reserve dollar, since they would be backed by a physical commodity rather than just paper. The problem this created for the Fed: this would give the silver certificates an intrinsic value, making them more attractive to investors than the Federal Reserve notes, whose value. This would also help to strengthen the U.S. economy, as it would create an additional source of liquidity and increase competition in the currency market. I again urge a revision in our silver policy to reflect the status of silver as a metal for which there is an expanding industrial demand. Except for its use in coins, silver serves no useful monetary function. In a speech on June 4th, 1963, JFK stated that the Executive Order 1110 was an important step forward in creating a sound and stable monetary system. I again urge a revision in our silver policy to reflect the status of silver as a metal for which there is an expanding industrial demand. Except for its use in coins, silver serves no useful monetary function. He argued that the silver certificates would have a stabilizing effect on the economy, that they would help to create a more balanced monetary system. He also mentioned that the silver certificates would be an essential tool in helping to combat inflation. So as you can see from what we read, basically this means that the Federal Reserve would no longer have full control over money and the circulation of money. And now a member of the family who is practically the owners of the Federal Reserve says this. Mayor Amschel Rothschild says, "Let me control a nation's money supply, and I care not who makes its laws." The Federal Reserve has full control over everything because they have full control over money. Now, once you take the power away from them, how can they control? And so they're smart, and they know this. And the two presidents who saw this for what it was and tried to change it just so happened to die. I mean, there were a lot of other presidents, and there was a lot of drama with a lot of other presidents. Why didn't they get assassinated? What happened with them? I'll tell you what happened with them. They never tried coming at the Federal Reserve Bank. There were only two presidents from which I know that truly try to go after the Federal Reserve and make a new currency or something that's backed by gold or silver and try to make the banking system more democratic, if that makes sense. Putting the power in the people rather than a private bank or a family or the government. And you know what happened to those two presidents? Well, Abe Lincoln, he got assassinated. And then John F. Kennedy, just a few months after he signs this executive order, is assassinated. So let's just use our thinking. If I'm rich and I control the whole world, and here's this little person who has a view opposing mine and can possibly destroy my empire that I built, what could I do to stop him? If I don't have control over the people, if I can't stop him from coming out with the silver certificates or gold backing currency, what could I do? There's only one thing. Take him off the map. And that's exactly what they did. I believe with Abe Lincoln, he tried. And he tried really hard. That happened. And then JFK came along. And he tried the same exact thing. And died. So I think it's time we stop looking at the outside world or foreign governments as to the reason why these presidents could have been killed. I think it's very simple. I think the Federal Reserve cannot be stopped, because then that means they no longer have control. And now when you look at the timeline, it's a bit scary. So, if you don't know, John F. Kennedy died November 22nd, 1963. You just got to know this important fact. In 1964, C. Douglas Dillon, the Secretary of the Treasury, stopped exchanging silver certificates for the silver dollars by 1968. Silver redemption had ended entirely. So just 1 year after John F. Kennedy's death, they take away his executive order to have these silver certifications. That could help the whole in the U.S. economy, inflation, take down the Federal Reserve. And the order is no longer here with us. Not only is the order not here with us, it was never fully given a chance. Once John F. Kennedy signs this executive order, just a couple of months later, he passes away. And then when he passes away, the executive order is now no longer here with us. It almost seems planned. If everyone voted for this specific order, why would this not be around to this day? Because money controls the world. The Federal Reserve controls the world. And if they don't want a specific order to happen, they will make sure that it doesn't happen. They more than have the financial means to do so. They more than have the power to do so. And we will never know about it. So there we go. If you guys want to know a little bit more about Abe Lincoln and him trying to also make his own currency and giving it out to the American people, and then just a couple of months later dying as well, I can make a video on that, a lot more heavily informative. I just felt like this video needed to be both emotional and informative, because I think it's time we all start fully understanding that we're controlled by one thing. The political parties are controlled by one person as well. And it may not be a person, but it's a Federal Reserve Bank. And they're owned by a couple of families that started off the whole fucking banking system to begin with. Whatever's in their agenda, they will make sure that happens. So there we go. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys agree or disagree. I would love to hear your thoughts. Love to hear why you think John F. Kennedy was assassinated. Or maybe I'm wrong, I'm just a dumb fuck. And that's okay. I'm totally open to that. But with this specific thing, I feel like I've done a lot of research in it, and I know what I'm talking about. This is why I believe John F. Kennedy was assassinated. Also Abraham Lincoln. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Very, very different type of video than I ever make. But yeah, I love you guys.